In this video, we're going to look at cell referencing. When using cell references in Excel functions and formulas, you can either use relative referencing or absolute cell referencing. By default, Excel will use relative referencing. This means when you copy a formula, Excel will change the cell references in the formula based on the position of rows and columns relative to where the formula is. In my example here, I'm adding up the contents of column B, which are directly above the cell with the formula. If I copy this function across for all the days of the week, the cell references will change to add up the contents of each column. This works when I copy a formula down as well. Absolute referencing is useful when you don't want a cell reference to change when you copy a formula. In this example, I've got a number in cell C1 that I want to use in my calculations. This works fine for my first row. However, when I copy the formula down, the reference to C1 changes, leading to completely wrong results or even errors. Instead, I'll change the original formula to use an absolute reference to cell C1. To use an absolute reference, simply use the F4 key while editing a formula to cycle through the absolute referencing options. You can also manually type the dollar signs into your cell reference. A dollar sign before the column name means the column will never change when copying the formula. A dollar sign before the row number means the row will never change. A dollar sign before both the column name and the row number mean that the cell will not change at all. Now when I copy the formula down, the reference to C1 remains fixed. Absolute referencing is also essential for functions that use fixed ranges such as COUNTIF or VLOOKUP. In the case of this VLOOKUP function, we don't want the reference to the lookup table to move, so I'll change the formula to use absolute referencing. Now when I copy it down, my function always uses the correct cell range.